here again. We're with Alex Paknadel. I hope I said that right.
Beautiful. It's Slavic. Like it just. I always think it's Slavic. It contains no multitudes. It does exactly what it says on the tin.
So we're standing here by his table of amazing comic. So I'm actually going to gawk at the table for the moment here. Don't you ever get tired?
Yeah, almost inhumanly. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
How long have you been?
Professionally,
Yes.
probably about 5 years, but on and off probably for about 10. I still had a day job until about 5 years ago.
Oh, right.
And then I went pro far too early and then ran out of money and it was terrifying. But it seems to be okay now, I hope.
Yeah, what got you into it, into comic books?
Oh, man, I grew up with them. You know, like my dad taught me to read with Marvel Treasury editions. It was just in the blood, you know? So I always wanted to do it. But then I got a job in London that, like, made me want to cry. And then I had an earnest conversation with my amazingly tolerant wife about what could I do that wouldn't make me want to cry.
Yeah.
And then we settled on that, and now it makes her cry.
Yeah,
So-
well, you know, give and take.
Yeah, absolutely.
I understand that. Like, my husband is home right now crying because he didn't get to come today.
You figure the pendulum has to swing back eventually. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. So I'm going to ask you, looking here at all these wonderful comics in front of you. So what's your favorite superhero?
Can I do by company? Hulk and Batman. Sorry, I know it's so...
I'm a Batman girl.
Yeah.
I wrote my thesis on Batman,
In college.
In
and
college.
passed.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
and I got a top grade.
That's crazy.
I was like,
What was your research question?
So my research question was literally the evolution of the Batman figure in the American cinema from 1966 to 2012, I believe. So I covered 8 films, which gave me a perfect excuse to rewatch everything, compare what I saw on the screen to comic books, and explain how comic book was translated into a film.
That's
But
crazy.
because of that,
Yeah.
whenever now I watch anything, I go, right, so the lighting is red to indicate this, and the angle of the camera is this, because they want to tell us that this character might be like mentally unstable. So I ruined my life because of that thesis, but I loved every second.
No. I think Batman, is one of those figures where you can absolutely take them. A snapshot. Batman at any given period will offer you a snapshot of American culture at that particular time.
Absolutely.
Probably more than anyone else.
100%.
this is the two not Americans standing here doing the interview. Just saying.
But I think Iron Man does that as well. I think
Yes,
Iron
I
Man will
agree.
give you a Polaroid of American culture at any particular moment. It's fascinating.
Which philanthropist superhero between Batman, Bruce Wayne, and of course, Tony Stark truly kicks ass? I mean, really.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because, we're sort of entering an era where, the billionaire philanthropist is more of a kind of problematic figure, right? I mean, but where's that going to go in the comics and the films and stuff? I mean, it's all up for grabs. I think you can say a lot with the superhero, right?
So we asked you about your favorite superhero. Who is your favorite villain?
That is a good one. Well, I mean, it depends who you ask, right? But I mean, technically Magneto, but
Okay,
but is he? Because I don't necessarily think he is.
The
There's-
Joker.
Yeah, of course.
There's no good in that man. I don't think so. Does the Joker have any?
Too twisted.
Yeah, he's too fucked up. Magneto got a bit of a heart
He does.
because he does care. Magneto does
In his
care
own
about-
twisted way,
Yeah.
he does care about the
about
youth.
certain individuals. Yes, he
Very
does.
much.
Well, there's that mini series, isn't there? Greg Park, I think, Magneto: Last Testament, which is I don't say this lightly. I think it's one of the great kind of Holocaust texts. It's incredible. I mean, it was so beautifully researched. I mean, it's wonderful stuff. Comics are great. Comics are great, you guys.
Oh, they're fantastic.
We love them.
Yeah.
We love them.
Yes.
Says the person who doesn't read comic books.
I own a plethora of them.
Yeah.
Seriously, I actually own a plethora. I have yet to read one fully all the way through just because my life and just, I don't get 10 minutes to sit down and
What do you do?
I take care of everybody in my house.
That'll do it.
If I can get 10, 15 minutes on my own to open up a book, which I can't, it's generally now in the car listening to
A Court of
Thrones and Roses. The smutsy, the romantic. I would love to see you comic book that shit. That should be fun.
Okay.
I dare you. Make that your
Challenge
next project. But I tell you what, if I could literally sit down and take one of my many comic books that I actually love. I mean, I have full runs of Star Trek comics that I have not read.
And you've met Rachel.
Yes, I love her too. She's amazing. But yeah, if I could actually sit down uninterrupted and read an entire comic book, I would not know what to do with myself.
You'd find a better way to spend the time.
Well, no, I wish I could find 10, 15 minutes. And the sad thing
Zumba.
I'm too lazy for that shit. No. And we went on a holiday for 7 days, my husband and I, and we just sat there, and I was like, I should have brought one of my comic books, mother.
Yeah.
Although, in fairness to everybody here, you can get Marvel for $50 online, and I like holding a book.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I'm like wedded to the artifact.
yeah,
I love
want
digital.
to
I write digital comics and everything. I love the
But
format.
I like holding.
I like the fact that it's like the return of disposability.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a thing about, and by the way, this is not to like yuck anybody's taste or anything, but once, like, I understand the kind of the archival aspect of things, and I know it's a very, very important part of the industry. But like for me, there's just something about like it needs to be read.
You need to hold it, you need to enjoy it, you need to smell it.
Yes, and that's the thing too, is I was going through actually all the comics, and like I think 2 or 3 of them I had bought, they were boarded and carded.
Yeah.
I don't think they've ever felt oxygen since the day they had been printed.
Yeah.
And when I took them out and I said, oh, this is really actually kind of nice, and I went, okay, I'm a little pervy with my comic book. But people that have hundreds of thousands of comics that never come out of their packages, or they get them graded and they put them in the boards. I was talking to some guy there not too long ago, and I said, would you buy a graded comic or a raw comic? And he goes, I'm done buying graded comics. I can't fucking read them. They're in the plastic thing, and and then you have to open them, put them in. And he goes, I want to open it up and read it. That's why I bought the fucking thing. And I'm like, yeah.
It's interesting. I think it's I mean, we're getting into the weeds here, but
Yeah.
I do think it's a very valuable part of the industry. But I think of them as art objects.
Yes.
Once that happens,
Yeah.
once they've been archived in that
They're
way,
just to look at.
but which is
Yeah.
which is awesome. But they are from that point. I think it's
Yeah.
they're in a gallery. I think from that point
Yeah.
on. You know what I mean? Which is, and I love art galleries. So
Yeah.
it's all.
It has its place.
Yeah,
It really
but
does. Yeah.
I always got I mean, this might be apocryphal, but Jonathan Ross, the chat show host.
Yes. Mhm.
I heard once, I don't know if it's true, but like that he has like multiple copies of like Amazing Fantasy 15, but like to just read around the house.
Oh my god.
I mean, like that's like serious money, but like I think that's a lovely thing.
There will always be a place for graded comic books.
Yeah.
There absolutely, but I think more and more people are wanting that ability. Not just to look at them. They do want to read them now. They want to see the stories. They want to get into the characters more, and they don't just want to go and sit in the cinema for 3.5 hours. But thank you, I love that too.
Yes.
But when you can sit down and read and get more in depth and get more of a story to these characters, you get more invested.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just to the content issue, I mean, that's certainly been the sort of driving thrust behind all the sort of mainstream work that I've done. It's a lot of fun to sort of think within the parameters of kind of corporate IP. Unless you're working on something very, very big, you can't manifestly change too much,
Yeah.
right? It's the like the sitcom principle. Is at the end of the episode, the furniture kind of has to be where you found it.
Yeah.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
Every episode of Friends is a circle.
Of course it is. Yeah.
A lot of comic arcs are a circle, and the patterns that they follow are very similar to like soap operas and sitcoms. But all of but stories are change, right?
Yes.
Every story involves a character changing. So the work, the craft, if you like, the challenge, which I relish, is you can't change too much materially. So it's about providing kind of emotional change,
Yes.
which means that you have to go really deep into character.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I just idly sitting there on a weekend and someone gives you a permission to make a meaningful story about Superman or Spider-Man. It's just great.
What's your next project?
I'm trying to think what I can say. I'm working on a graphic novel that's an adaptation. Not an adaptation. I'm working with a very big novelist to adapt one of their works. I think I could say that quite safely. So that's a lot of fun, and that's a huge challenge as well.
Would it be something that we know?
Almost certainly.
Damn it, if it's Sarah J. Maas, I'll just lose my shit. Write a story about the Fae. Come on. No. It's like, he's like, I don't want to do that.
No. I mean, that's another thing I think is like just not being. You're loving all genres.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. I think the moment you start viewing one genre as superior over another is a creative dead end.
Yes.
And you need to embrace all of it. I forget who said this, but I always like the principle of like, if you can find one thing to love, then you've got an in.
Oh, yeah.
If you can't, that's when you turn it down. That's when you say no.
Yeah.
But if you can find one thing to love, run with it, and
Yep.
you'll be good.
That's a really good thing to say. Because, like, again, I said this earlier, for all of the different genres and nerds here, we may not all like the same thing, but we can appreciate everybody's love of what they love. And I think that's the really great thing about these Comic-Cons.
It's a safe place.
Yeah.
It is. It's safe for everybody.
I mean, any kind of hierarchy of fandom is ridiculous and self-defeating. Absolutely. I mean, it's got to be the reason why we're here, right, is because it's a broad church.
And we can all have fun.
Yeah,
That's
100%,
it. It is
100%. And the whole thing as well of like, oh, such and such kind of doesn't read comics. Well, the way I view that is, well, like, maybe try one.
Yeah, exactly. Give it a go. Why not?
And if
Try
you don't
it,
like
see
it,
if you
cool.
like it.
But yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. And that's what she said. Like, I mean, it's funny. Now, my mom is, I mean, this is around no, she just turned 80, yes. And
Congratulations.
yes, she has. Well done, Mom. And I took her and my aunt to a shop in our town that I did not know existed. It is the only shop in the 50 United States that has every collectible statue from every studio in the world that is licensed.
Wow.
It's called Collector Zone. It's owned by my friend Marcos.
Where is it?
In St. Joe, Michigan. So I took my mom and my aunt in there, and they're both 80, 85, and they walked in and they went, oh my God. Because he had the two first collectible figures ever made, Frankenstein and Frankenstein's Bride. They are the originals
The 30s.
that are there. He was given them for a show, and the owner never came back to get them,
Wow.
and he still has them. So my
That
mom,
is wild.
I know it is, and we're going to StatueCon in August. There we go. It's going to be great.
Where's that?
StatueCon, and that's going to be in St. Joe, Michigan. Yes, come. It's going to be the fucking amazing thing. I'll tell you all about it later. But the thing with that is my aunt and my mom, who are 80 plus, who knew about comics when they were younger because it was all of their cousins, their boy cousins who read it, and they never touched a comic ever. However, my mother went on a date with Bill Bixby, and for all of you who don't know who that is, he played the Hulk original in the TV show.
Wow.
Yeah, she went on a date with him. I was like, what the fuck? You didn't tell me. She goes, well, I didn't really know. I was like, oh my God, Mom, serious? So our little claim to fame, Mom went out with the Hulk once. There you go.
I heard a crazy one the other day. Stan Lee went on a date with Patricia Highsmith. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, why not?
That's wild.
Yeah. You never know. You never know who you're
There
going
is
to
there is a literal there is no more than 1 degree of separation between the talented Mr. Ripley and the Incredible Hulk.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
See, the multiverse is real, everybody. And on that, Alex, I want to thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you
very
for your
much.
time.
Thank you.
And guys, we'll be going and talking to some more folks in a little bit.
And we've got much more from MegaCon Live Dublin, so make sure that you check in for all the podcasts.